Welcome everybody back to the third day of the California Small Farm Conference. My name is Evan Wigg. I'm with Community Alliance of Family Farmers, and we are very happy to have you back for a workshop that is called How Mentorship Magic, How Mentorship Strengthens Organic and Bolsters Beginning Farmer Success. So we have three wonderful presenters. Thank you all for being here, sharing your expertise, your knowledge, your on-farm wisdom. And just want to encourage everybody out there listening to engage with us today on the webinar using your chat feature down below, or you can drop in a question through the Q&A feature. Today's workshop is being recorded, so you can go check it out afterwards over at our YouTube channel at CAF. And without further ado, I'm going to pass it on to you, Molly. Thanks so much for being here with us.
Thanks, Evan. It's so wonderful to be here with the CAF family. We're big fans. Hi, everyone. I'm watching in the attendees. I see some names I recognize. Welcome, everyone. And welcome to all who are watching this as a recording later. My name is Molly Nakahara, and I currently work with the CCOF Foundation. I am the education manager, and so I support all of our programs that are working to help farmers who are transitioning to organic out in the world, providing them with technical assistance and different programs to help them achieve success as organic producers. And I'm delighted to have two special guests with me today, Justin Miller from Twin Peaks Orchards and Robert Hoze from Apple Creek Vineyard Farm and Nursery. Justin and Robert are both participants in a program that we run at CCOF that's called Organic Mentorship. And the goal of our program is to help farmers connect with each other for sort of real-time problem solving and thought partnership. The traditional sort of mentor-mentee relationship, but really just to sort of strengthen networks that are already existing on the ground. So much agricultural knowledge is passed from farmer to farmer. And if we look back at our history, some of that has been sort of within families, as generations passed on land. But as we move away from generational farms, making sure that there are still ways for farmers to connect with each other, to learn, to celebrate, to voice challenges, all of the above is sort of the spirit of this program. So we are going to run sort of we're going to share some slides to help everyone learn a little bit more about this program and how you might be able to be involved in this program, or how you may be able to connect producers that you're working with to this program. And then we're going to actually sort of switch to a panel to hear from both Justin and Robert about what their experiences in this program have been. And I'm sure we'll get into lots of topics about farming and the different types of agriculture that both of these producers manage and the ways they've been able to support each other. So let's see, you're all jumping in here. Feel free right now, if you'd like, to share in the chat where you're coming from, and if you're a farmer producer or if you're a support person. It would be wonderful to just hear a little bit more about who's here. We will try our best to address questions throughout the workshop. But please, as you have questions, either use the chat function or the Q&A function to let us know what your question is. And if we can't get to it right at that moment, we will reserve time at the end of our presentation to address any questions that might come up. So yeah, I guess I'm going to give both Robert and Justin a time to introduce themselves a little bit later in the presentation and tell us about their farms. So right now I'm going to share my slides and get started. Okay, can I get a thumbs up? Everybody see that? Awesome.
Looks good.
Here we all are. I'll share this again later in the presentation. I'm sure that both Robert and Justin would be, I'm sharing your contact information.
For sure.
We encourage, this is a spirit of farmers connecting to each other. So we encourage you to reach out to either and all of us if you'd like to later on. So a little bit of background of sort of how this program is being supported. Organic mentorship is a piece of this large, sort of first of its kind investment by the USDA into expanding organic across the United States. So it was called the Organic Transition Initiative. It's $300 million that sort of went to different key areas in a strategic way to expand organic production for, a number of reasons. The Transition to Organic Partnership Program is what is supporting the farmer to farmer mentorship aspect. And so TOPP, as we call it, TOPP is supporting sort of education and on the ground learning, expansion of technical assistance specific to organic and organic certification. That was a big chunk of the money. The Organic Transition Initiative also funded grants through the Organic Market Development Program to expand organic market and provide support for marketing organic products. And then there was, really a really important piece of this is sort of direct farmer assistance. So funding that went to the NRCS as well as the Risk Management Agency, RMA, to fund different programs that can provide sort of direct payments to farmers around organic and organic practices. So at the NRCS, there's a new organic standard. There's a new conservation practice standard, CPS 823, that is, it enables NRCS conservation planners to work with organic producers and create sort of support payment scenarios based on organic management. So I definitely encourage any organic producers that are watching right now to make sure that you check in with your local NRCS field staff about that program and its availability in your region. So the USDA invited certifiers. They broke up the country into these regions, you can see, and they invited certifiers that had sort of education or foundation arms to lead the TOPP program across the country. And so it's the CCOF Foundation, which is different than CCOF certification, right? We're sort of two different things housed under one big house. But so we're different than the certifier. We are a foundation. And we were asked to lead the program in the West Southwest. So we are actually supporting this program in Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, Utah, Nevada, here in California, and all the way over to Hawaii. So what we're going to be talking about today is a program that's actually available to any producer, no matter where they are in the United States. And you can see we invited in a lot of partners to help us do this work of expanding organic and expanding organic support on the ground for producers. And it's been a wonderful and collaborative effort to have, certifiers working with each other and a real spirit of really wanting to make sure producers succeed across the country. The funding is it was a 5-year cooperative agreement, and we're in the second year of that. And in California, these are some of the partners that are helping to do this work. So you may be hearing about more and more sort of support for organic producers. or different opportunities or seeing more events around organic. And it's an exciting time to sort of see this groundswell of just uh, support for organic producers, increased focus on sort of organic production and the benefits and impacts. And then, of course, there's technical assistance needed to support producers who want to achieve certification. So there's an expansion of sort of education, but there's also some um, cool like education and resource development that are happening, different new resources for producers to use. And then there's some exciting stuff happening sort of behind the scenes in terms of like workforce development. So there is a under development, but a a, a specification within certified crop advisors that's going to be specific to organic. So we hope to see in future sort of organic specific certified crop advisors, which is will really benefit agriculture in many ways. Then of course, like developing career pathways for all of the whole sort of all the areas of the organic supply chain and food system that we need to make sure we're still, training people to support. So that's some of the work that's happening in California. Oh, my slides. So organic mentorship. CCOF Foundation is running this program, and it's been a little bit slow to get started. It turns out mentorship is a lot, is mostly matchmaking. It is a lot about getting to know the very specific needs of producers that are both interested in mentorship and that are interested in being mentors and mentees, and then making sure that matches between mentors and mentees have their best chance of success. And so we are trying our best to make sure that we're recruiting mentors and mentees that are both sort of in doing the same product sort of type of production and hopefully in somewhat similar regions so that the information exchange between mentors and mentees is as sort of accurate as possible. And of course, farmers are very busy. And so, and California is a very big state. And so the hope that people are close enough that they can spend some time in person with each other and potentially be at each other's farms throughout the connection. Currently, you can see we have 17 active mentor-mentee pairs. We have more mentors and more aspiring mentees than that, and are in the process of trying to find, make the good match between folks. We're mostly covering like specialty crops right now, so it's mixed vegetables, lots of different types of fruit and perennial crops. We do have a medicinal herb mentor, which is wonderful. And we piloted a mentorship for food hubs, so handlers of organic um, produce. You may have heard there was the first big major change to the Organic Food Production Act. There was some fraud that was happening, and the National Organic Program made an update to sort of organic rules and regulations. It was called Strengthening Organic Enforcement, and it was really looking at the middle of the organic supply chain. And so handlers, between the farm and the end user, a lot of handlers now need to be certified organic according to that rule. And so we wanted to provide a space to support food hubs. And that was a really successful project, and I think we're going to be running it again. And so if you work with any small aggregators, small handlers, food hubs, send them my way and I can get them plugged in for support. We are partnering with, I think Maria is on. Yes, we are partnering with the UC Organic Agriculture Institute. They're one of our big partners in the TOPP program here in California. And we're hoping to do have mentors also serve as farm demonstration sites through the UC Organic Ag Institute. And so some of these farms are also developing into demonstration sites, which is exciting. So we'll have mentor farms as places that we can host events and bring more people together and connect that as well into the mentorship program. Um, all right, let's talk a little bit about who can participate in this program. So mentees, any farmer that has existing production, so they're currently farming, and they have some agricultural experience. It doesn't, new farmers are welcome to apply to be connected to a mentor. But we do sort of prioritize people who have an existing farm and some experience instead of people who maybe haven't quite started their farm just yet. Those folks are much better suited to going to events supported in the TOPP network and connecting to other technical assistants. This program is really designed for people who are actively farming. So to qualify as a mentee, a producer just needs to have some experience, be currently farming, planning to transition a current sort of existing operation or potentially a newer operation that they're starting to organic. They could be in that process of transitioning or potentially adding new acreage, like expanding an organic farm, or adding on a different scope of certification, right? So when you certify organic, you have to certify um, there's a crop scope, there's a livestock stock scope, there's a handler scope. And so someone who is expanding, a producer who is expanding into a different scope could qualify for mentorship. We're also supporting new to organic producers. So someone who is already certified, but maybe in their first 3 years of certification, we want farmers to go organic, but stay organic and find success in organic production. And so supporting sort of new to organic producers as well. Um, and then mentees are able to receive um, 40 hours of direct mentorship from their mentor. And that can be, the mentor and the mentee decide what the best way to communicate and when to communicate and how to communicate. That's up to that mentor-mentee match. And there is a small stipend to support the mentee to participate in the program. So I would love to introduce at this point Farmer Robert Hoze, who is a mentee in our program. Um, Robert, would you share a little bit more about your farm and where you're at in your farming journey and how you got into agriculture and and then maybe also share sort of what was appealing. Why did you decide to apply for the mentorship program? What was appealing about the program?
For sure, Molly. First of all, my name is Robert Hoze. I'm the owner of Apple Creek Vineyard Farm and Nursery. We're out in Galt, California. We first decided to go into organic transition because we were already into organic, but we wanted to get all the knowledge and technical service for organic practice, and to go into also to mentorship. We decided to go ahead and go through that, so that way we can have someone that we can reach out to if we had to make decisions, answer some questions, and it came about. It worked, and at the moment, we're in the process of going through the transition, and we're doing very, very well going through the transition.
Great. I love to hear it. I love hearing about that. So how large is your farm, did you say?
Our farm is 8 acres. We are a small farm, but we got a lot going on our 8 acres. We're splitting it up to, um, we have three practice of table grapes. That's Thompson Seedless, Summer Royal, and Flame. And then we got a four fruit orchard. And then we got a pomegranate orchard. And we also do hydroponics on the property. So, and we have a full-size garden. So basically, we do a lot to go ahead and serve our community.
Fantastic. And why did you want to sort of to switch to organic production?
Well, we feel that going organic, people are looking for something organic, something real, instead of going to this, say, supermarket and going through something that they don't know where it came from. A lot of our customers is they come to us for health reasons because they know that we're organic and we don't use any kind of pesticides on the farm.
And how were you learning about organic production before this mentorship program? How were you getting information or learning about agriculture?
Basically, mostly through the website. We're trying to go ahead and try to get a lot of information from that. Also, we look at all the practices are available, but it wasn't that much, that we were getting. So that's why we got involved with CCOF, because basically they gave us a lot of technical service and also material to go ahead and pick and choose what organic material that we can use on the farm.
Great. Thank you for that plug. But I want also want to share that this program is certifier neutral. So also we support any producer. Doesn't matter what certifier you choose to work with. Is choosing CCOF, but we support producers who work with all of the certifiers. We're certifier neutral. Thank you for sharing, Robert. I'm going to share, let's see, I'm going to share my screen again. And we can see a couple more photos of your farm. Looks beautiful. Looks like you got some nice compost out on your grapes. Um, Robert, where is it that you're marketing? People are coming to you, you said?
A lot of people are coming to us. We got a farm stand, and we upgraded our farm stand. The first picture you saw, it was for the first beginning, and then we installed a building, and we dedicated it for a farm stand and a store. So that way, customers could come, at any time to go ahead and purchase from us.
Awesome. I have a photo of that I'm going to show in just a little bit. And that was actually one of the reasons that I felt like Justin was going to be a good mentor for you because I know, have a wonderful farm stand and a lot of experience with sort of direct to consumer marketing. So, thanks, Robert. I'm going to talk a little bit about mentors now, and then we're going to hear from Justin, your mentor. So, um, mentees can be sort of any farmer producer who is interested in transitioning to organic. We have mentees who are long experienced farmers but are new to organic, and we have mentees that are brand new to farming and also new to organic. Mentors are the experienced organic producers. So what that means to us is someone who has had 3 years or more, but at least 3 years of managing both organic production and certification. So we know there's a lot of producers who are very familiar with organic production practices, but a piece of this is supporting a mentee as they go through a certification journey. So we want to make sure our mentors have experience with certification. So they know what an organic system plan is. They've gone through the cycle of having an organic inspection at their farm. They understand what communicating with a certifier looks like and why the significance of that. Um, the other significant piece for a mentor to qualify for the program is really people who have the capacity to to give to this program. We're asking a mentor to provide about 40 hours of one-on-one support over the course of a year. And like I said, that can be through phone calls, text messages, emails, but hopefully in-person visits as well. And the mentor's really responsible for managing the relationship with the mentee to make sure they're keeping in communication. Mentors are compensated for their time. We want to, part of this program, it aims to sort of infuse support into these on the ground farmer to farmer networks. And so we really wanted to value mentors' time. And like I said, this same program is happening across the United States right now. So that is who can qualify to be an organic mentor. I've shared this website a few times, organictransition.org. That is where both anyone who's interested in applying to be a mentor or a mentee can submit an application. And there's a lot of wonderful resources about organic transition on this website. So I definitely encourage you to check it out, and I encourage you to share it with any producers that you support. Okay, so over to Justin Miller at Twin Peaks Orchard. Justin, tell us about Twin Peaks Orchards, your family history, your farming background, and then within that, why were you motivated to participate as a mentor?
Alrighty. Hello, everybody. So Twin Peaks Orchards was founded in 1912 by my wife's great grandparents, Tomeo and Yoshicika Nakai. We moved back up to the farm 18 years ago, about when my wife's grandfather, Howard Nakai, passed away. We had promised we'd come kind of help keep the farm going. Family farms are difficult, so we started our own farm across the road. And we started that farm organic from the ground up. In 2020, we lost our packing shed to a fire, and about 95% of the infrastructure on the Twin Peaks family farm. We bought that farm from my mother and father-in-law and merged the two farms together. My wife, Camila Enriquez, is up there in the left-hand corner of the slide. She is the fourth generation owner. So we have experience with starting a farm organically from scratch and also transitioning a farm from scratch. So we've done that. We've embraced it. It's going great for us. We also, 80% of our production is sold wholesale through distributors and some of the more well-known grocery stores like Whole Foods and Nugget and stuff like that, and a bunch of local independent grocers throughout the Northern California region and also into the Pacific Northwest. We do farmers markets. We have an on-site farm stand. We also have an on-site production facility, which is basically a small commercial kitchen where we make jams, some sauces, and some baked goods, and some dried fruit as well. So we do a little bit of everything. We've had some challenges over the years with weather. So we started doing vegetables 3 years ago to kind of keep our people working. So we have 102 acres total. We have about 87 acres planted. And I'd say of that, 87 acres planted of stone fruit trees, citrus, and palm fruit and persimmons. We grow 50 varieties of peach, 40 of nectarine, just about everything that you can grow on a tree besides nuts we grow. And then we have about 5 acres of row crops. In that slide there on the left, you can see my daughter and my wife's Aunt Carol. So you have the third generation and fifth generation that are making jams together. You got my son Diego picking over here. My son Joaquin doing a farmer's market, and a couple of our team members, Arden and Jake and Fernando, doing some markets. We do markets in Sebastopol, San Francisco, all throughout the Tahoe area, locally here, and Sacramento as well. So that's a little bit of what we do in a nutshell. As far as becoming a mentor, one of the things that we ran into when we first moved up here was even family members, held everything close to the vest, and other farmers were very hesitant to provide any knowledge or mentorship. And when I read a lot of my wife's grandfather's memoirs, he was a mentor to everybody in the community, and he was involved in everything. And this is a man that kept the farm going through internment, came back and rebuilt it, raised his his siblings after his father was murdered for being Japanese, kept his farm going through all kinds of stuff, and managed to stay involved in everything. Um, so when you have that kind of legacy to live up to, I think it's important to be involved and help wherever you can. But mentorship to me also, that was something that was lacking when we started, and we wanted to learn how to be organic and how to do that. So that's why I chose to be involved in the mentorship program. It's kind of paying it forward because for those that did help me, I'm glad to see there's a program out there where it's offered to people where they don't have to reinvent the wheel and they can actually have a resource where they can pick up a phone. I know Robert and I have had a great relationship, and my first introduction to agriculture was from my step grandmother in Seaside, California, planting our front yard to eat. And if I can teach someone like she taught me, on how to grow my melons in old tires with compost so that we got enough heat in the Bay Area or in the Monterey Bay to actually produce a good sweet melon, and how to grow greens and always have something to be able to bring into the house, and how to grow tomatoes. If I can pass that along somehow, then I have that connection to those that came before me. And also, it's nice to have someone like Robert that we can both feel that we're not alone in this world, because farming can be very isolating, and you can feel like you're all by yourself. And when it frosts and you lose your crop, and you're just shaking your fist at the sky, at least you have someone to commiserate with. And then also with the winds too. I mean, Robert's doing great stuff down at his place. He's fulfilling a dream of his, of getting back to his roots as well, and being able to farm, and something that's always been a passion for him. So I get a lot out of that by seeing his success as well. So
Thanks, Justin. That's
Thank
very
you.
inspirational. How fortunate we are to have you in this program. Yeah, your family farm's history is so incredible, and I know there's a lot online about Twin Peaks orchards and its history. So if folks are interested, they can. If you search them up, you're going to find some cool stuff. Um, so like Justin was saying, mentors are there to support their mentee in like really broad sort of learning and on the ground, real time problem solving, somebody that you can send a text message to when you're out in the field, or call at the end of the day after you've had like sort of a hard experience, and just get another angle on maybe what a path forward. And I think there's, you know, like all things agriculture, there's learning on both sides. So sort of just any information exchange is wonderful. But we don't expect mentors to be like really intense technical experts, right? There's a lot of complexity in the rules and regulations, or there can be a lot of complexity when you get down into the nitty-gritty of someone's certification or filling out a very technical form, something like that. And so that is part of why the TOPP initiative has also a new workforce of technical assistance providers on the ground. So there are now folks in cooperative extension and at CAF and in the UC system who are organic certification of technical experts. So there are places to go when the questions feel too complex, or if there is a question about what's happening. There are more and more places to go. So mentors while mentors have a huge amount of expertise, you don't need to feel like you have every correct answer to be able to support another producer in their journey. And also, we're here to support you as well. And so, we sort of provide an example of some structure that a mentor and mentee might decide to take throughout the year. But it really is a sort of choose your own adventure program. We really leave it to the mentor and the mentee to determine the best way to communicate. There's not like a prescription for what's going to work. So we just encourage folks to stay in touch. So with that, I'd love to dig in a little bit more with Robert and Justin around sort of the specifics of what they were able to support each other through. So Robert, turning to you, are there any sort of specific challenges that mentorship with Justin helped you to solve?
Yes, when we first joined the program, I didn't know how much actually compost needed to go down on the ground. So I called Justin, and he told me that at least about uh, 8 tons per acre. So basically, that helped me out. So I was moving along, and a lot of things that say we had a flood on our property, and he gave me some good answers for that also. So it's been a ongoing say educational for me to get a lot of information from Justin, because
Great.
basically it seems like that we're on the same road pathway, because basically we do the almost like the same thing.
Right. So that was when I was trying to find I first met Robert. Robert came to me looking for mentorship, and I was sort of like, okay, who's in his area? I was trying to figure out reaching out to different partners, and then I had a light bulb moment when I thought of Justin. I was like, oh yeah, there's a real similar path here. And so and I'm happy to hear that it's worked out. But like I said earlier, it is a lot about trying to sort of match farms with each other so that they have the right support to give each other. Robert, how would you say that mentorship is different from the other types of support that is available to farmers?
Well, mentorship is on like a one-on-one. Uh, the others is almost like tech support. So you just getting, say, readable information, and it's not, say, a solving question. You just have to figure it out. But being on the mentorship, um, it's like I said, one on one. So you get a firsthand. That's what I feel.
Great. Robert, here is a photo of your new farm stand. It's gorgeous. Looks
Yes, thank
very
you.
fun. And so
That's
go
Go ahead.
ahead.
It's a farm stand and also a store. So basically, and a nursery, all built up in one section.
Fantastic. Robert, have you worked with other support providers, like NRCS or other groups to help your farm?
Yes, I have. NSRCS is helping us through a lot of different other practices like access roads. So that's way we had a lot of rainy weather, and it was just deteriorating the whole access road. So we went through that program, and also the refrigeration grant that we got. So that way we can house all our vegetables and fruit into a cold storage for our customers.
Awesome. Can't wait to come and visit. Robert, we had a question in the Q&A from Sandy. Um, did it take you 3 years to go organic, or is it taking you 3 years to go organic? Could you share a little bit more about your sort of organic transition?
Well, for the 3 years, it's on the soil. So the 3 years is on the soil, but through say livestock, we have laying chicken eggs, that only goes for like 3 months, and also the hydroponics that goes for 3 months, and also we got a station for microgreens, and that's like 3 months. So it doesn't actually take 3 years for all of it. It's just different access of different areas.
Got it. So you aren't certified yet, but you do, some of your land does need to wait 3 years before it
Correct.
certifies organic, right?
Correct.
Great. Could you tell us a little bit more about like learning, as a new to organic producer, how has it been to learn about organic certification and organic practices and then if mentorship has supported you in that?
Well, there's a lot to learn at first, because basically there's a lot of products out there that may say organic, but it's not organic. So you got to put the products that are organic onto the farm. So that's all the material that is on the farm. And for the mentorship, it's like you're getting a lot of information from your mentor, and you're applying it to all the areas that, say, you ask them the questions about.
Great. Thanks, Robert. Justin, I'd love to hear from you. How do you feel mentorship is different from the type of support that's available to farmers?
Because you have someone that's actually doing the work, and you know, I before I was a farmer, I ran food plants, and so I ran a big cheese plant, and I had a lot of folks with high levels of education, which is great, and you're developing products and recipes. But one of the components that I would always tell them in my plants, I'm like, education's important, understanding the process, but if you can't actually produce it, it's there's no value to it. So I think the technical support a lot of times is someone that has the educational background for it, but maybe not have the experience with actually doing it. You can say, okay, this is what your soil should be, and this is how much of, you know, N you need or whatever. And there's all the ideal stuff that you can pretty much find in a book. Um, but then there's the balance of actually having the money to do it, and the farming of it and the resources and all that and the practical application. So I think that's where it helps. There's a lot of great work being done. There's a lot of great science, and there's the right way to do it. And then there's what you actually can do on a farm. And I think that's where the synergy happens, with having someone that has boots on the ground, so to speak, and has the the same risk going on that you do. Because you can discuss something academically, but until your retirement's on the line for it as a farmer, it can change your perspective. So I think having that's what's important. I mean, a lot of us, Robert's a very intelligent man, was a teacher for a long time. Um, he can do the research and look it up, and put all those efforts in there, plus manage the business aspect of his business and the farming aspect and this and that. Um, but it's nice to have someone that's already kind of done that, so he's not reinventing the same thing. And I know he called me up and say, hey, you know, uh, we both grow apples, and hey, I'm having problems with this and that. What do you do for it? Like, well, I use pheromone strips to prevent, coddling moth. And so I put those on about this time, but I've noticed that as climate's changing, we're getting hotter earlier.
Mm.
So I've got to move that a month earlier. And you can get some of that from a PCA, but I know from working with PCAs too that there's, they're always trying to sell you something. They don't have the same interest at heart that you do. We're looking for an economical, viable, low impact
Source.
solution. Um, and organic isn't, it's a lot better than it used to be. You have a lot more options than you did 20 years ago. But it's still a very small marketplace out there in the agrochemical world. And there's not a lot of PCAs that have been open to kind of learning organics. And so that was a big challenge for us early on. And instead of, having to search everything and look for all this different stuff and where can you get it, and is it armory listed, and can you use it in CCOF, or can you use it in this certification, you have someone already doing it to give you that information.
Yeah, absolutely. Another thing that I've observed the two of you is sort of the emotional support piece of agriculture as well. Like Justin, you mentioned it very briefly, but you had a huge disaster on your farm, and I wonder if you could sort of speak a little bit more to to that piece. I know like maintaining a positive spirit is so like is one of the messages I hear from you a lot. And here we heard Robert just talking about flooding that's happening on his property. So if, I would love to hear just a little bit more reflection from both of you really about sort of the sort of emotional support piece, or I think I guess that's the right word for it. Like when the hard times come, you know, how do you how do you dig deep and how do you support each other through those times?
Robert first.
Well, it's when I went well, the flooding issue, it was just it'll bring you down because basically you're not familiar with all these say fruit orchards that are going being flooded out, and all the soil is saturated, and so the roots are being saturated. So to find out that somebody else has been going through it. It helps a lot. It gives you a say a mindset that if he go through it, I can go through it too. So it's a great thing because basically um, that's how I've you know it did to me because basically it gave me a lot of self support of looking at Justin and what he had said that he had to go through to his property. Excuse me.
Farming is it's. I was telling Molly and Robert earlier. I had school kids out here today. And that always gets my 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 passion bucket filled up. Seeing young kids out on the farm. And I was talking to some of their parents, and I think there's some things that people really need to understand about farming. It's farmers are 20 to 1 more likely to die than a police officer in the line of duty. 14 to 1 over those in the military. Suicide rates really high. There's a lot of real hard, tragic stuff because you don't have a pension as a farmer. You don't have, I'm not even covered on my workman's comp. All my employees are, but I exclude myself to save some money, and so does my boss, aka my wife. We exclude ourselves. There's a lot of risk in it, and if you allow yourself to kind of get into that negative center, it's all you're ever doing is complaining. And I see a lot of farmers that do that, and it hurts their life, and everything gets tied into the farming. And you do sacrifice a lot of stuff. You take vacation when Mother Nature lets you, if you can afford it this year, and so you're always juggling stuff. And you have a lot of smart people in farming, and we could all make a lot more money somewhere else, but we do it for, kind of what's behind me on my screen and for those that came before us. So there's that legacy that you leave behind. It's a higher calling. It's a passion that you have. And this is what I always talk about is you got to enjoy your wins because there's enough down.
Yes.
When our packing shed burnt down, from 30 feet from my house, it was tragic. And then, when my wife and I cashed out everything we had, her parents took what little insurance money they had and they used that for their retirement. Um, and then it was all on us. It was on us to be the generation that kept the farm going. And when you have 98-year-old people calling you up that are your wife's great aunt, telling you that now they can die in peace, knowing the farm is still gonna keep going, it's a lot of pressure on you, and so you just got to enjoy the wins because if you let that negative mindset sit in, and you're not going to succeed. So what I've benefited the most out of this as well, in every interaction that I have with another farmer, is knowing that I'm not alone in this very challenging thing that we've all decided to do. So it's a noble endeavor, but it's definitely an endeavor of passion. So you got to do it for that. Um,
I agree.
yeah,
Thanks.
and some of these slides here, this was something that we had put together, and I think it's really important that people realize that, farming is more than working in the fields. It's not it's not just how, putting on your farm outfit and going out and doing that. I mean, the burnout rate for farmers at 10 years is huge. I've seen farms come and go in 2, 3, 4, 5 seasons. 10, I've seen a lot exit out. So you do have to have that balance. Sometimes I misspeak and tell people you can't be counting on vacations, because you can't. You can't have the same lifestyle you had before you entered that farm world. But you do need to make time to be able to ground yourself and center yourself. But when we're done with farm work, my wife, who's down there with my wife's Aunt Carol, and then you got Rob on the road there, who did a piece for us with America's Heartland. She's working on marketing stuff, probably, on other stuff around the house, sales calls, still doing that. I'm in doing accounts payable, accounts receivable, uh, regulatory submissions. There's so much stuff that farmers do, because we don't have an HR department, we don't have a accounting department, we don't have a regulatory department. You're all of that. Robert knows that. You wear all the hats and then some. Plus, you're trying to
Yeah.
write some grants to get some funding to help you grow your business. So that's what I mean by there's so much to farming than just working in the fields. And that picture of our delivery truck, that's me at the local Whole Foods at 2:30 a.m. Making a delivery, so I don't have to drive it down to the DC in Emeryville. And then I come back and do office work, and then I work all day, and then the sun goes down and I come home. During the summer, I work from April 15th to September 15th, 7 days a week. And that's the sacrifice you make. And then you got to find that right time where you get that downtime and you can do some stuff and move on from there. But I know I'm on a little bit of a tangent, but it's still a great thing to do. But
Yes,
when I can call and look at Robert and we're both in the same boat, it helps.
I agree.
Yeah. Yes, it does. Well, thank you both for the work that you do and the work that you do to support each other, and um, this keeping this sort of just spirit alive in agriculture is, I think, critical to all of our success, whether we're organic or not. Um, so I'm going to share the slide about how folks can apply for this program. But when we do that, I'd love, Robert, to hear from you. What would you say to someone who's considering applying to be connected to a mentor? So someone who wants to become a mentee in this program, what would you say to them?
Do it and try to do it as quick as possible, so that way you don't have to go through the headaches, because it's going to be a lot of headaches. Because basically it's a long process, but it's an educational process, and you just got to go and just don't wait too long. Just go ahead and do it. That's what I feel, because basically when we did it, we just said, okay, this is what we need to do. We're there, but we need to go further.
Great, Robert. Thank you. And also apply soon, because it will take me a while to find you a good mentor match. And so you need some time to do that. And Justin, what would you say to someone who's considering thinking about becoming a mentor?
Do it. Don't gatekeep your success. It's I think we had this discussion offline a little bit too. It's like, there's so much, you got to be a good mentee. You don't just come and, learn everything from someone and then set up shop right next door to them and do all the same farmers markets and grow all the same stuff. That's not being good. I think that's what's built up a lot of the hesitancy from farmers. You got to respect where you get your knowledge from. I was trained in a lot of things, and I didn't try to set up and be competitive to those people. So I had that respect. And then, like Robert and I talked about, the only competition I have in this world is myself and my farm and Mother Nature.
Exactly.
So I don't fear competition. And there's plenty of struggle that I got to deal with that I can't control. So be a mentor, be better than what was there for you. It's really easy for a lot of people to say, well, no one was there for me. Well, we can only make the world a better place if we do better than those before us.
Amen.
Amazing. Thank you
I
both.
agree.
So organictransition.org, that's where folks can apply for this program and also connect to some other resources and events that are specific to organic. I also just want to share that there is CCOF Foundation also supports this. Every Tuesday, there's an organic office hours with an organic expert, so you can hop on a Zoom and ask any kind of question that you might have. It's every Tuesday, 11 at 11 a.m. You can call in or you can just join the Zoom. And the best place to get resources for that or details is to go to the CCOF events page. The link is right there. Then I'll put up our contact info again if folks want to follow up with any further questions. Feel free to reach out. And now I'd love to open it up if there's any other questions from the audience. We have a couple more. We have 15 or so more minutes, and we'd love to hear from any of you if there were things that you heard that you'd like to learn more about. Feel free. I'll make sure the chat. Any questions? I'll stop sharing my screen. Anything else you guys want to share about mentorship program, your experiences, challenges that you had? Oh, I see a question really quick. Let me answer Joseph's question. Is there a cost for becoming a mentee? No, there is not. Mentorship is a free program to participate in, and mentees receive a $500 stipend that helps support them to go to an event related to learning more about organic.
And that's one of the nice things too, is there's no dollars tied to it. It's not like you know, for me, I'm doing it for just the sake of doing it. I would do it for free, so it's not I wasn't enticed to do it for money. I was enticed to just do it. So, you're gonna have your mentor hopefully is going to be someone that just wants to see you succeed, and that's where I get my payment from. I love seeing the success that Robert has down there. So I would also say that I'm always available. Shoot me an email if you have questions or need help. I'm more than willing to do that.
Thanks, Justin. Karen, great question. Where can we find who are currently serving as mentors? There's not really a public place. It's really just connecting with me to find out. We do have 2 mentors in Sonoma County. I see you're at the Sonoma RCD. So the best way to find out more about where mentors might be is just being in touch with me. That might change a little bit. Maybe we'll figure out a way to sort of share some more farmer stories. It's a great idea. I should write a blog post about it, where we have mentors available. We are finding though that, it is a lot, even sometimes we have a mentor in a region, but it might not match up with production type or marketing or language is another one that we are really focused on. So there is still recruiting both of sort of mentors and mentees as we get people into the program. And, I'd love to reach out to partners in areas to find out more. We're definitely we're expanding into Southern California more, but finding folks in Southern California to serve as mentors we're doing better now. But we started off with most mentors in Northern California. Another question from Alade. Sorry if I mispronounced that. What if you are a newly certified organic small farmer? Yes, you can participate in the program. So mentorship is available to new to organic producers. So if you're still in, the first 3 years or so of certification, you can apply and be connected to a mentor. I know that actually can be some of the most challenging time to, because now you actually are on the line for making sure your records look good, getting ready for inspection, like all of that stuff. And so it's a really important time, that first, when you're very new to being a certified organic producer. Another question that I'm seeing is about how long mentorship is. A mentorship cycle is a year. And at the end of that year, there is the opportunity to continue with your current mentor or to be connected to a new mentor as well. And so mentees can stay in the program to continue to receive support, and mentors can continue to support producers, and potentially, if they have capacity, support multiple producers in the same mentorship year. Oh, great. It looks like UC Organic Ag Institute is working on creating a story map, which I love that word, about where mentors and demo sites are located across the country. So across the state. So it looks like there will be more information about where we have and the mentors that we have. Thank you, Maria. Do we anticipate the program to be available indefinitely? One could hope. It is somewhat funding specific, but I think I certainly am hopeful that we can have imagination around how to continue this program moving forward once this particular round of funding goes away, because it seems to be a critical piece of supporting farmers, especially new to organic farmers. Thanks for that question. Are there mentorship needs that participants can help fill? I love these CAF Farmer Services come in hot with the great questions. Yeah, I'm looking for a sweet potato grower in San Bernardino County. So if anybody has a connection to farmers that are like out sort of in the I don't really know what that region is called, but like sort of desert farming, like East San Bernardino vegetable producers. If anyone has a connection there, been trying to find a mentor in that region. And if the other thing that I would like to share is that if you know of sort of people who are already providing mentorship informally, we can get folks sort of into the program. So I know there are farmers that are serving as mentors to folks in their area or folks that they know through other networks. And we can sort of help bolster those existing relationships with this program. And so you're welcome, if you are a service provider and you sort of have that happening, you're welcome to reach out to me, because I would love to, use this program to sort of strengthen existing networks. Like Justin said, we don't need to start everything from scratch. So if this is an opportunity to help get momentum in an area where there is maybe informal mentorship happening, that could work too. Thanks for all the great questions. Justin and Robert, any last things to share?
I would say people who are in the farming, don't hesitate, because basically the world is big and the opportunities are large. So the competitiveness, it should be out the door, because basically we're trying to feed the world. And if we go organic, everything would be healthy.
Thanks, Robert. Beautiful words.
Yeah, y también hay gente si hablan español solamente, yo lo entiendo más o menos a todos. So, si hay preguntas en español o en el futuro, si tienen un problema con algo, contactarme con mi email también. And I'll also put my phone number in the chat in case anybody needs to call me.
Gracias, Justin. All right,
And
folks. Well, go ahead, Justin.
One last thing too, because I had asked that question because I met Holiday in at the Echo Farm, and he's a new farmer at Seaside. So,
Oh, sweet.
and I was happy to see him there because that's where I got my first knowledge of farming was with my step grandma Ida Mae. So he's a great gentleman to be a good connect for you as well, Molly.
Great, wonderful. Thank you. Well, thank you everyone for joining and for doing all the work you do to support farmers. And thank you to the farmers who are here today for taking time. We are grateful for the work that you do. We know you do it because you believe in it and you are fueled by passion. And we are grateful to what you do. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.